When we look at global deforestation or vanishing ecosystems, the scale of the damage is paralyzing. It is easy to feel entirely helpless. But step outside your door and look at the edge of your local park, or even your own backyard, down at the level of the soil. The problems are small, physical, and entirely within your control. We are Wildlife Parks Unlimited. We believe the most effective way to heal the land is to put skilled hands directly into the dirt. That is why we use the short mission protocol instead of planning a massive multi-year conservation project. A short mission is a highly targeted, small crew intervention. You identify a specific ecological threat in a confined space, and you neutralize it before lunch. By shrinking the timeline and narrowing the focus, you remove the barrier of feeling overwhelmed. You step out, complete a set of physical tasks, and create a visible, undeniable victory for your local ecosystem. In a single morning step, one of the protocol is setting a strict temporal boundary. A mission must be contained to a 1 to 3 hour window. Working past this point leads to physical fatigue, careless mistakes, and volunteer burnout. Next, you must armor yourself against the realities of the field. You need heavy closed-toe work boots to navigate hidden rocks and thick leatherwork, gloves to protect your hands against stinging plants, thorns, and ticks. You also need your extraction tools. A steel hand trough allows you to bypass compacted dirt, and a heavy-duty plastic garbage bag ensures whatever you remove cannot escape back into the ecosystem. You have a hard stop on the clock and the physical barriers needed to stay safe. A chaotic outdoor chore becomes a sustainable, repeatable operation that you can perform safely week after week. When you arrive at the site, do not try to clear the entire landscape. Choose a specific area and define a strict boundary, like a 10 by 10 meter square. You won't step outside this box until the mission is complete. Within that grid, we are hunting seedlings, young, unestablished plants that haven't yet developed deep root systems. We bypass the massive, established invasive shrubs and focus entirely on these small, vulnerable sprouts. But before you pull anything, you must be certain of what you are holding accidentally. Extracting native wildflowers instead of the target invasive species actively damages the exact ecosystem you're trying to heal. To avoid this, cross-reference a local field guide to positively identify common local invaders, like multiflora rose, or cheatgrass. Multiflora rose is an invasive shrub that emerges with tiny, serrated leaves, while young cheatgrass is an invasive weed with a fine texture and a reddish stem. A mature invasive plant requires saws, herbicides, and hours of labor. To neutralize a seedling requires 2 fingers and 2 seconds. By eliminating the invader at its most fragile stage, you exert drastically less energy, ensuring the ecosystem never reaches the point of being structurally overwhelmed. Now the extraction. The most common error is grasping the plant by its leaves or the middle of its upper stem. Pulling from here simply snaps the plant in half, tearing off the foliage while leaving the subterranean root structure entirely intact. That remaining root system acts as a battery. It stores energy and, within days, it vigor remove than the original plant. To execute a successful extraction, slide your grip all the way down to the absolute base of the stem, completely flush with the soil line. Apply a firm grip and pull with a smooth, continuous upward motion until the entire root slides out. If the soil is hard and dry, the root will resist. Do not force it. Instead, take your hand trough and gently wiggle the dirt in a tight radius around the stem to loosen the earth before attempting the pull. Leaving a root behind allows the weed to regenerate. Extracting the entire root system intact ensures that specific plant is dead. You have permanently reclaimed that inch of soil. Once the plant is out of the ground, the mission is not over. Many invasive species possess aggressive survival mechanisms. If you simply toss up pulled weed back onto the dirt, it can easily reroot itself or drop viable seeds into the freshly disturbed soil. Every single extracted plant must go directly into your heavy-duty plastic bag. This isolates the biomass, ensuring these invaders are permanently removed from the site. This data dashboard shows exactly how we track our progress. At the end of your shift, you log the physical output of your work. By recording the total square meters you cleared and tallying the exact number of biomass bags you filled. When you record these specific metrics, you strip away any doubt about your impact. You now have objective, quantitative proof that your morning of labor directly resulted in— This split-screen comparison shows the transformation of the 10 by 10 grid on the left, an impenetrable mat of invasive weeds, chokes out available light on the right, rich. Dark, clean soil is finally exposed, allowing a single native sapling to absorb the sunlight that clear dirt acts as a blank canvas. By removing the suffocating layer of invaders, you physically open up the exact space required for native plants to thrive and for local insects and pollinators to forage. Your local ecosystem requires your direct intervention. Gather your work boots, grab your heavy gloves and your steel trough, and schedule your first 2-hour mission for this upcoming weekend. True, lasting ecological restoration is not achieved by waiting for massive global initiatives, and happens when individuals decide to take absolute ownership of the dirt in their own backyards.